Okay, what up ladies and gents, it's your favorite Asian robot right here. Hopefully, your favorite official content creator for First Descendant. And today, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna talk you through Viessa's mobbing build. Now, if you like my work, you like my stuff, please make sure you register me as your favorite content creator. The link is in the first line of the video description. Okay, if you do that, I'll be very grateful. Now, I'm not gonna waste your time, let's get started. Like we do with these videos, first we're going to go through Viessa's skills so that you can understand why I've built her in a particular way, and then we're going to go through the reactors, external components, all that other kind of stuff, and then we'll have a demonstration at the end. All right, let us begin right now. I'm going to remove my cam so we can go through this. Okay, first and foremost, let's talk about Viessa's skills. Now, for this particular build, right, we will be making use of the Absolute Zero Transcendent module, which when the skill lands a critical hit, it inflicts frostbite on the target. Whenever you successfully inflict frostbite, it will trigger ice spheres. The ice spheres themselves have damage, okay? They've got damage and an AoE explosion radius. They've got their own unique cooldown, and each time you hit a critical hit, you can trigger more, okay? In fact, sorry, on a critical hit, you'll inflict frostbite, which will trigger more of these orbs to exist. The thing is, you can actually reach 100% critical hit rate with this, which is redonkulous. Okay, I absolutely love it. It's a lot of fun. Now, the skill critical hit rate increase is applied to the baseline of Viessa stats, apparently. All right, that's how it appears to work, and you will actually see that in the field. Now, let me talk about her first skill, Frost Shards. Okay, Frost Shards is on a 7-second cooldown. All right, you'll be able to bring it down to 1.8 seconds with this build. It costs you 22 MP to cast, and your skill power is 997 at base, but with this particular build, you are going to drop to 977. You will take the slight hit to power because you're going to increase your explosion damage range, okay? The base range is only 3.5 meters. So by having enough range increase, we're going to pump that up to about 10 meters, turning it into a nice little ice grenade that detonates in a 10-meter radius. Very good. And Frostbite will last 2 seconds when you inflict this, okay? Next is Frost Road. Frost Road is your mobility skill. You will gain a 40% increase to your movement speed, all right? The max expandable range is 200% on this, and you will actually also recover your shields while running this build. Theoretically, this makes it possible to create a shield Viessa, but because of the nature of her crit build, you are not going to want to create a shield build because crit modules take up like 4 freaking slots. In fact, even with this one, we're already taking up about 3 slots. Then there's cooldown, there's utility. It's going to be a problem if you try and go shield build, so I don't really worry about the shield recovery. Theoretically, you can use this to create a sort of gun build if you want, but that's not the priority here. Take note that this skill also inflicts continuous damage as you create frost roads on the ground. The frost roads have a 5-meter radius around you, which compared to their visual effect is actually a lot larger, so you can dish out some decent damage as long as you're close enough to the target. Okay, so you'll have frost road for that. Now, cold snap, this is beautiful. It's got a 28-meter forward range with a 8-meter width, and it does 3,174, thanks to the modifications here, % of your damage. The modifier is insane on this. It's on a 5-second cooldown and just 30 MP cost. Usually you will use this when the target is an elite. That means it has a yellow HP bar, and you will absolutely destroy them with this, okay? Last but not least is Blizzard. This is your big Whopper, okay? Hamburger, cheeseburger, Big Mac, Whopper. Now, when you're using this, it has a 15-second cooldown with this build, only costs 38 MP, and the duration, we've made it last 6.3 seconds. Why 6.3? Okay, the damage interval is 1 second, but having a duration that goes slightly beyond the standard duration gives it an extra tick of damage at the end, which is why it is boosted up. All right. Take note, however, that there are 2 different ranges to the skill. The first is the continuous damage range. So the continuous damage that is being pumped out has an 11.5 meter radius, but at the end, there is a big explosion. This is after all the damage intervals finish, and then you will get a 17.2 meter radius on this one. Okay? That should be about it for Viessa. Okay, these are her skills. This is how she operates. Now, before I go into the module selection, we're going to talk about everything else that surrounds it. Okay, so you've heard her skills, you understand what her skills do and how they are used. Now let's talk about the reactor and the external components that we're going to use here. Okay, all right. Starting with the reactor, you will want to have skill cooldown on the reactor. This helps your skills do more. The other stat you should actually have is focus on singular if you're going to use this build. Unfortunately, this is the only reactor I had, and it had some cooldown, but even with just a two-tier upgrade and just skill cooldown of 6%, this thing absolutely shreds, okay? And I'll demonstrate that with this exact reactor. But reactor is very crucial to Viessa. Try to get a good one. If you want to go for a full mobbing build, you are going to need one that has, it has to be a chill singular reactor, and you're going to need cooldown on it, which I personally would prefer. Otherwise, go for chill skill power boost and singular skill power boost. You can go with that as well, or critical hit damage boost. That also works just fine. Don't go for skill critical hit rate because you do not need that. Okay. Ideally, if I could, I would go for skill cooldown and skill critical hit damage, since that's a multiplier. But again, I did not want to farm a reactor, and I found that, hey, this is already working, you know? Okay. For her external components, I'm using a 2-set of the Polar Knight. I recommend you use the auxiliary power and the Knight sensor because both of these come with hit points. All right, having both of these will give you a chill skill power boost of 6.2%. Not very much, but helps give a little bit extra oomph. You want to have for your auxiliary power the stats of max HP, and you can have either module drop rate increase if you're using this purely for farming, or you can have MP recovery out of combat. Module drop rate increase would be ideal, but I haven't found a good one yet, so I'm going with this. Polar Knight sensor, you just want max MP gold and MP recovery in combat gold. This is pretty standard. All right. For your annihilation memory, you want an MP recovery modifier and defense roll. I recommend the annihilation memory since this comes with extra max HP, and you can just go for the 2-set effect with an annihilation processor. The alternative would be to use the what's the new set from the Void Vessel? The Hunter set. You could also try and run the Hunter set if you want. Funnily enough, the sensor and processor would be the two used here, but you'd have to use the memory for this one. This would give you an extra cooldown of 4%, but I didn't find it worth it, so I just went with the Annihilation set. Okay, so for memory, defense, MP recovery modifier. For your processor, max shield, shield recovery modifier. However, if you really want to, you should, and you really want better drops while farming, then please make sure you go for, what is it? You need to go for equipment drop rate increase. Okay, so this will be more important if you're going to use this purely for farming. I tested it out and I really like Viessa for farming, but I will still probably use Keelan for farming because he's faster. All right, at least in my opinion. If you feel that Viessa's faster, by all means use her. She owns the boss room so quickly, so you would not be in a bad situation with that. Okay, all right, let's carry on. Actually, yeah, sorry, I made a bit of a gaffe there. You could actually use the sensor and processor for this, or you could use the sensor and memory. The processor actually has better stats than the Annihilation processor. Oh, this is Invader. Sorry. I thought that was Hunter. What am I looking at? Okay, you can just ignore the last minute of the video. This last minute of the video, okay? We'll pretend I never said that. I swear, my eyeballs just saw the wrong thing. You know what? I could edit this out, but never mind. Okay, I'm sure you guys will have a laugh at that. So, like I said, Annihilation sensor, Annihilation set, Polar set, 2-set effect, good enough. Okay. Weapons don't really matter with this build. I would say just match whatever it is to fit your reactor, because you will literally be using skills the entire time. Okay, you will not need to touch your guns, which also means that you can theoretically level up guns as long as you can trigger the optimization condition on your reactor, or if you're willing to level down and use a purple reactor, that's totally fine as well. Just keep in mind that you cannot upgrade the purple reactor beyond a double upgrade. Okay, so purple reactors can only be upgraded 2 tiers, and they have less skill power, so you will lose out on that, but you will be able to use this to level up pretty much any weapon you like if you want to. Okay, for this one I've got a sniper condition, so I'm just tossing on my piercing light. I didn't do anything special with it. Like I said, with this build you don't use guns. Okay, so carrying on from that, let's go directly into the modules. Now, once again, going to remove my cam and go through the modules with you. We start with midair maneuvering. This is the standard grappling module that everybody uses. Absolute Zero, as I mentioned, is going to be your Transcendent module, which changes all of our skills to singular. So that's why we use the singular reactor. Take note of that. Okay. we are going to have for your survival just one module. Increase HP, that's all you're going to have. Now, if you would like to, you can actually swap out increase HP, all right, for HP amplification, which gives you more bang for your buck, all right? But the difference is only 8%, so it's up to you whether you want to use it or not. I choose not to because the negative on the shield means I get slightly less benefit from Frost Road, but again, it's up to you, okay? There's no right or wrong answer here. You can use HP amplification if you prefer. Now, for utility, I've got Nimble Fingers and MP Conversion. This gives me plenty of cooldowns, okay? Skill expansion and maximize range are also important. Yes, you're going to take a little bit of a hit to your skill power modifier, but her skill power modifiers are so high that this does not matter. So may as well maximize the range, therefore giving her as much AoE as possible. If you would like to use amplification control or anything else, that's up to you. Okay, some people say they prefer that. Look, I'm not going to debate that. I just prefer to maximize it, okay? Then for your damage, what you're going to have is focus on chill, giving you extra cooldowns and more chill skill power, okay? Then you're going to have your critical modules. Skill Insight, important. Skill Concentration, important. These are your two baseline ones. Then you put on Emergency Measures. This one will increase your skill critical hit rate and your skill critical hit damage. I believe you can also use Frontlines, if I'm not wrong, in place of this, giving you more damage, but slightly less critical hit rate. But this, I think, puts you slightly under the 100%. I could be wrong on that, all right? But you can just do the check yourself. How do you check? I'll show you. Just go to the info page here, and it'll show you. Now, the skill critical hit rate here is incorrect because when you actually get into the match, it shows 100%. I will demonstrate this in the field and also test out front lines versus emergency measures, but you can use either one. I actually did the testing with both, and the test that I ran with emergency measures, which has a higher skill critical hit rate but lower damage, was just fine. So although you were sacrificing a bit of damage, you were still doing just fine with this, okay? Last but not least, you'll have MP Collector. MP Collector will save your life. I'm just kidding. MP Collector is just so that you can have plenty of MP while you're going around smacking your enemies. So I prefer to use it. If you don't want to use it, you want to get even more damage, you can throw in something like Dangerous Ambush and have fun, okay? So this is my setup for farming Viessa. Now, the last thing I'll go into is the Inversion Reinforcer. Now, for Viessa, the Inversion Reinforcer is going to have some importance. You can have whatever element you want to counter your enemies. I take Heightened Sensory Cells because I actually find this pretty useful. It's got a cooldown of 25 seconds, but it helps you recover your HP and your max MP. And it's very easy to trigger because all you need is one enemy nearby, which if you're fighting somebody, an enemy will always be nearby. There are other options, but I really like this one. Then the last one I'm taking is Arcade Boost. Arcade Boost is great because when you hit 5 or more enemies with a skill, you will trigger Arcade Boost. Arcade Boost will grant you a skill cooldown, all right, of minus 15.5% and a range increase of 11% for 7 seconds. It's got a cooldown of 25 seconds, which is good for most fights because you have to actually hit 5 or more enemies to even trigger it. All right, so I do like Arcade Boost a lot. But if you don't want it, you can choose something else and off you go. All right, this is my current setup, and this is what works for me. Now, let me go and show you how this actually functions in combat. You guys have heard me talk about it. Let me show you how it does. So we'll start off with Calico Ossuary, additional skills, whatever, private, let's go. And I'll run through it and I'll show you how it works. Okay, again, when we go into the match, I will show you the skill critical hits. And you can actually see that the skill critical hit does not match up with what you're actually shown. And I believe this is because Absolute Zero is not added in before all the multipliers take place. So we'll take a look at that. Okay, now that we're in, if we go to the inventory screen, you go to info, skill critical hit rate is 85.085% with front lines. So if you want to get 100%, you can go for emergency measures. Some people find that 85 is more than good enough. I leave that decision up to you, and I will show you how it functions like this, okay? So let's get into it. Now, trigger your Frost Road first. You want to do that. Blast these guys. Blast and go. Blast and go. Now, because you don't have duration increase here, you will have to an extent, keep triggering your crossroad. But honestly, God, the MP cost is so cheap that it won't really matter. Okay? So don't hesitate. Just go around bombarding, literally just continuously bombarding your foes and having a great time. Okay? This is what you do now. This is your life. Bombard them from the sky. Bombard them in the face. Bombard them right here. Bombard them again. If you ever need to, you can even use your wave attack. Alright. Just keep bombarding. Now, when you find one that's an elite, just hit him with the wave. Alright, I mean, 3,000 plus multiplier, he's gonna suffer, right? Bombardment, baby.
My shield is down. This could get messy. How dare you break my shield?
Now, is it faster than Bunny? I would probably say no. You can sort of structure it to be slightly as good, but ultimately this is more about fun factor than anything, right? I hate that there's these 3 weird snipers there. I don't understand their purpose, but whatever. Oops, totally messed up that bombardment. There we go. Bombed again, and again, and again. Again and again. See how that works? You see how that works? That's what I like. Now keep in mind that your passive is also going to be bombarding them, so use and abuse it. Alright, wipe them all out. Now in rooms where you are sure of the enemy spawns, you can actually utilize the ult as well, so don't hesitate and don't shy away from that. It's not expensive to do so. So if you're sure about the ult spawns, you can use that. And of course, when you've got the arcade boost, don't hesitate to spam. Alright. As you can see, even without the ult, which I mostly save for bosses, you can absolutely rip everybody and everything.
My shield is down. How dare we break my shield?
And be sure not to die as well, yeah? Dying is bad for your health. Okay, now there's one more enemy. The danger with Viessa, kind of like with Keelan, is that sometimes as you're bombarding, you may occasionally leave enemies behind. This is a rarity, but, you know, it depends on how fast you go. Sometimes I leave enemies behind. It's not very cool. You know, if you take food and put it on your plate, you got to finish the food, right? You always got to finish off your enemies.
Smooth as ice.
But if there's one thing I love about this build, it's just being able to rain death from above. Feels good.
This is the ultimate chill. This could get messy. How dare we break my shield? This could get messy. My shield is down. How dare we break my shield?
Of course, you guys recognize the grapple technique, yeah? I taught you this in my little YouTube short.
Stay where you are.
This will have much more use for Viessa and Keelan, to be honest. Okay, as soon as I see a boss, I will toss down that. Hit them all with the extended clip. Alright. Roll, roll, roll your boat gently downstream. Then merrily, 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 life is but a dream. Okay.
Stay where you are.
Take out all these.
This could get messy.
Sig boy.
How dare we break my shield?
Now, keeping in mind the different ranges, we have that.
My shield is down.
Now, if you start to run low on MP, there's plenty around here, but... oh, well, he's already dead. But you get the idea, right? So this is basically how you play Viessa. You just run around, spamming ice everywhere, killing people. mission completion time is about 5 minutes. You could probably do this in about 4-ish with Bunny, but Bunny suffers more in the boss room, which costs her extra time. Viessa doesn't. So in actuality, the kill times, although it seems that Viessa is slower in the initial stages, the actual kill times are roughly the same. In fact, like I said, Bunny only wins by about 20 seconds, if that. So feel free to use Viessa for mobbing if you like. Same with Keelan. You can feel free to use either of them. These are the results. This is how the build works, okay? Have fun with Viessa. I know you guys have been wanting a Viessa build for a long time, and realistically speaking, I wanted to release one last season, but I didn't really have the opportunity because in the last season, what actually happened was that Viessa was hot garbage, and until she got this recent buff, she wasn't that good to use. She was okay, but not great, all right? So that's why we're only releasing it now. Thank you very much for watching this video. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Don't forget to register me as your favorite content creator if you haven't already. And somebody vacuuming? Damn, somebody's vacuuming. Okay, I'm gonna end this real quickly. But anyway, before we go, I always gotta thank our top tier channel members. All right, top members, you already know who you are. I'll have the listing up as soon as I can. And for those that do not know yet, here's our December's top support list. Top tipper CG Mayhem. All right, top tipper list includes Sir Tommy. Top super chatter is Lawbreaker right there. Top super chatter list includes George Tishon, Brad Music, D Russ, Tommy John, BVS Fang, Fisher. Thank you guys so much. Top channel membership gifter is George Tishon with 10 gift memberships. Top membership gifter list includes Arcane Silver, Track Hoodie, Jody Wilkins, and D Russ. Thank you guys so much, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Don't do anything weird while I'm gone. Catch you later.